Sunny, I'm so true. I love you. Hey, Sunny. Let me see, Sunny. You see. Sunny. Sunny. I love you. Sunny. Do I love you?
Experience the excitement right here, right here on Tracks FM.
Hello there, good morning and salam sejahtera. This is Nabirin Dadamia with the top stories at 7 a.m. Yang di-Pertuan Agong graces the launch of housing project for Pahang flood victims courtesy of the UAE, and Health Ministry Election Commission still discussing for the 15th general election SOPs. Now the news info. Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah raised the launch of the housing project and the presentation of the housing assistance offer letter to Pahang flood victims, courtesy of the Red Crescent Society of the United Arab Emirates UAE in Pekan, Pahang yesterday. His Majesty was received on arrival at the Kampung Temai Hulu Temporary Relief Centre by Pahang Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Wan Rusdi Wan Ismail, UAE Ambassador to Malaysia Khalid Ghanim Mohammed Al-Gaith, and Chairman of the UAE Red Crescent Society Dr. Hamdan Musallam Al-Mazrui. In his speech, Al-Sultan Abdullah hoped the contractor involved will expedite the implementation of the project so that it could be implemented before the northeast monsoon season arrives, so that the victims can move in as soon as possible. Al-Sultan Abdullah also expressed his gratitude to the government of UAE, especially to President Sheikh Mohammed Zayed Al Nahyan, for the assistance which was seen as a result of the close ties between His Majesty and Sheikh Mohammed Zayed. Earlier, the King was also briefed by the Pahang Housing and Real Estate Board Executive Director Ismayati Ismail about the project that costs more than 12.1 million ringgit and involved the construction of 123 units of houses in 7 districts in Pahang, namely Lipis, Jerantut, Maran, Pekan, Rao, Temerloh and Bentong. Ismayati disclosed the houses, each measuring 750 square feet, will have 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms with basic furniture. Meanwhile, His Majesty said a moratorium period of 10 years is imposed on the owners of Rumah Rakyat Al-Sultan Abdullah. Al-Sultan Abdullah pointed out it is to ensure that they do not sell or change the ownership of the residents.
Saya harap apa yang dinyatakan oleh Yang Berhormat Besar tentang moratorium ini perlu diambil kira secara serius. Jangan pula bila dah terima rumah ini, soal nak jual dan soal nak lepas tangan ni akan datang ke bawah fikiran kita. Ini saya tak harap juga dapat diadakan. Kalau boleh biarlah rumah ini sampai ke anak cucu.
2 types of houses are being offered, namely single-story houses worth 75,000 ringgit and stilt houses worth 100,000 ringgit each. The houses are expected to be ready by early next year at the latest. The Ministry of Health, or MOH, is still in discussion with the Election Commission, EC, to finalize the Standard Operating Procedure SOP for the 15th General Election GE15. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said further developments regarding the SOP will be announced soon. He told reporters after officiating the the Commonwealth and 4th Global Wood Conference 2022 in Petaling Jaya, Selangor yesterday.
Masih lagi dalam perbincangan, SPR telah meminta pembalas daripada KKM latest. Ada beberapa perkara yang SPR boleh buat, ada yang mungkin mereka susah nak buat. So kita akan bagi maklum balas dalam sehari dua hari.
Regarding on the treatment and wound care services, Khairi explained FOH would improve these services in the next 5 years to enable every patient to receive proper treatment, including those who are bedridden at home. He added the government allocates 5 million ringgit each year to government health facilities to meet the needs of wound care treatment. We will be right back after this short message.
Postal vote registration forms involving election, military, police and media personnel must be sent to the office of the election manager where you vote. The signed form can be faxed or emailed to the respective election commission manager's office. The closing date for sending the form is 2nd November 2022.
Welcome back. Moving on to the foreign news. Canada changed its investment rules to make it more difficult for foreign state-owned companies to buy into the critical mineral sector. The new stance followed a backlash over China's moves to secure supplies in Canada of dozens of essential elements such as cobalt, lithium and manganese that are used in solar panels, wind turbines and electric vehicle batteries. The government said in a statement on Friday, investments by foreign state-owned enterprises in Canada's critical minerals sector will only be approved on an exceptional basis. According to the Canadian government, the highest scrutiny applies to all investments and not just takeovers of Canadian companies, as was previously the case. Most recent report shows evidence of crimes against humanity, war crimes, sexual violence and drone attacks in Ethiopia civilian populated areas. The report published in September last month concluded there have been abuses of international human rights and humanitarian law since November 2020 when the conflict in northern Ethiopia restarted. During a news briefing at United Nations headquarters in New York, United States on Friday, UN Human Rights Commissioner on Ethiopia conflict Stephen Ratner said the responsible entities include the governments of Ethiopia, Eritrea and Tigrayan authorities.
Our report made a number of core findings. We focused first on the dire humanitarian situation in Tigray and found that the widespread denial and obstruction of access to food, medicine and basic services amounted to a crime against humanity, as well as the war crime of using starvation as a method of warfare. Secondly, we found rape and crimes of sexual violence had been perpetrated on a staggering scale since the conflict began. We found evidence of the use of drones by the government.
In Geneva, Switzerland, the World Health Organization WHO officials said on Friday, Ethiopia's Tigray region has run out of medical supplies such as vaccines, antibiotics and insulin, warning that many deaths will be probably going unrecorded from preventable and treatable diseases. WHO Director of Health Emergencies Interventions, Altaf Musani, describing the situation as deeply concerning.
The immunization service is a lifeline to children to keep them alive. Those services have stopped. We know there are confirmed reports of stockouts, IV fluids, antibiotics, other treatment medicines don't exist in those facilities. We have first-hand recorded that information. And that's when we start piecing the picture together against what we define the risk, we are deeply concerned. And therefore, appealing for opening up that access, making sure it's sustained.
In other news, an intruder attacked the husband of U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi with a hammer, fracturing his skull after breaking into their California home on Friday in search of her. Pelosi spokesman Drew Hamill said Paul Pelosi was attacked at home by an assailant who acted with force and threatened his life while demanding to see the speaker. Paul Pelosi, 82, who underwent surgery and is recovering in hospital, was at home alone as his wife was working in Washington. San Francisco police said officers found the assailant at the couple's home just before 2:30 a.m. local time. In sports, golf banned Crane trying to end an 8-year PGA victory drought via a 9-under par 62 to seize a one-stroke lead after Friday's second round of the PGA Bermuda Championship. The 46-year-old American made 9 birdies, 2 bogeys and an eagle to match the low round of his PGA career and stand on 14 under 128 after 36 holes at the windy Merseyside Port Royal Course in Southampton. And finally in football, QPR missed the chance to return to the top of the championship as first half goals from Austin Trusty and Emmanuel Longello gave Birmingham a 2-0 win at St Andrews in London. Arsenal loanee Trusty's hopeful flick looked over the QPR keeper Senny Dieng before Longello, also on loan at the Blues from West Ham, fired into the far corner on 29 minutes. The visitors also lost Jake Clark-Saltier and forward Tyler Roberts to injury before half-time on a miserable night for manager Michael Beale on his return to the Midlands. And before I go, here's another recap of the headlines. Yang di-Pertuan Agong praised his launch of housing project for Pahang flood victims courtesy of the UAE, and South Ministry Election Commission still discussing for the 15th general election SOPs. And that concludes Prime at 7, coming from RTM's news sector in Angkasa Puri, Kuala Lumpur. The bulletin was edited by Marian Awar. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, before I go, here's another short message. While we are happy with family and loved ones, don't forget the fight against COVID-19 is far from over. Together, we take care of our Malaysian family. Thank you for joining us, and Salam Keluarga Malaysia.